bring up.
All right. You got actually, John? It's live.
Shalom. Shalom, brothers. We are the Hebrew Israelites coming in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. As you know, is America, but we know it's spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah and Babylon and all the other wicked kingdoms wrapped up into one. But first and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Baharakakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, and shalom to the elect. We're going to start this lesson off quick and easy. Okay, so I'm pretty sure everybody knows about the whole Rodney Hinton situation and what's going on. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up because I had a conversation with this girl from Peruvian girl, and she's a lawyer. She works in a law firm with a bunch of lawyers. And in the law firm, she told me, she said there was only 2 people of color that worked in this law firm, and they were having a debate on this entire situation. And she called me for advice because she was getting real flustered. And I said, what you getting flustered about? She's like, well, everybody's talking about how, you know, are you against cops? Are you against cops? And I'm like, wait, so they're not looking at the life that was lost, right? So anybody know about the Rodney Hinton situation? I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. 18-year-old, so Rodney Hinton Jr., right? I believe Rodney Hinton Jr. So basically what's going on, cops were in pursuit of a car, and the car pulled up into a park. 4 young black boys, so-called black boys, right, got out the car and started running, right? One of the cops pulled his gun and shot the kid down vividly. You can see it on camera. Shot him a bunch of times in his back. The cop goes, they say, why did you shoot him? He said, I was in fear for my life. They go, fear for your life?
They were running.
How are they running away from you and you're in fear for your life? He said he thought he saw a gun, but then when they walked up to the body, you see the young boy dying or whatever like that, and it says that he did not have a gun, or allegedly did not have a gun. So we catch this cop on camera lying, saying that he was feared for his life, when obviously he pulled his gun and started shooting. Now to get back to the Peruvian girl, who is obviously an Israelite, and she works at a law firm where nothing but lawyers and Edomites, right? So she got into a real heated debate today. And this happened today. This is why I'm bringing this up, because I had to bring some scriptures out for her to get her to understand the plight they were living, because she couldn't understand why these white people, so-called white people, couldn't understand how bad this looked. They were just trying to strongman the narrative and basically look at her, oh, so you don't like cops? You against cops? You against cops? Instead of looking at the actual picture here. You got an 18-year-old little boy who gets out the car, 18. He's a young man, if you want to call him a young man. Cool. Young man, he gets out, he runs. Boom. Cop pulls his gun, unloads a whole clip on him, shoots him up all in the back. Cop lies, says, I was in fear for my life. We all see that as a lie. And then boom. In retaliation, the father allegedly ran over a sheriff or one of the cops that was probably in pursuit of his son and killed one of the cops. Right? But here, there's some extra spice on top of this. Now it's coming out that he wasn't even the one. From eyewitnesses who've seen everything, he wasn't even the one driving. It was a woman driving. So did he actually kill the cop? Or was it somebody he's taking up for and say, I'll take the blame for it because it was my son they killed? Right? Now you can watch videos with him in the courtroom. The cops tried to do like an intimidation tactic where they was all on both sides. They had him on a chain gang in his orange, and it was all the cops on the left, all the cops on the right. And they was trying to intimidate him, and he walked through there like a grown-ass man, like, man, fuck all you
like a G.
Excuse my language, but I'm giving it up. Now, to get back to this woman, she's having this argument because she's trying to say, well, she was trying to use logic. She said, well, as a lawyer, I can see how we can get him off. They all got mad at her. What you mean get him off? He should be in prison, under the jail. She said, well, look, if he did run over this cop in retaliation for killing his only son, you got to look at it from a perspective like this. It was a crime of passion.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how many
so-called
white people have gotten off because of the crime of passion? Many times. Oh, I killed him because I hear he raped my daughter. Or I killed her and him because I seen him cheating on me. Right? There's so many different times they've gotten off on it. But because, now mind you, they're trying to play semantics with her, and they say, you don't like cops, you don't like cops. And she goes, wait, you're not looking at it from a perspective of like this. It's a young black male, 18 years old, who was gunned down, shot in his back, and a cop clearly lied and said that he was feared for his life and that he had a gun, which now is coming out that it's a lie. Clearly lied. You don't care about what happened to that little boy. You only care that the cop died. Why do you only care about the cop dying? Now, you can sit here and say it's because of the badge, but it's not because of the badge. You see Israelite or so-called black boy, and you see a white cop. That's all you see. So you're trying to argue with me based off semantics of, oh, you don't like the cops now? I never said that. The topic right now that we're having is this situation, this court case, this date. We are lawyers, and this is how we are dialoguing. But it's crazy. So she couldn't understand. So she calls me, goes, oh, I'm so upset right now. Can I just talk to you real quick? You're very sound-minded. You're very sound-minded. And I said, well, so when she tells me the whole story, I said, why are you so upset? Well, I would have did it too. Somebody killed my child. I said, yeah, most people would think like that, right? So I started bringing up Bible verses. I brought up eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I started bringing up different. I was trying to give her an understanding without unloading the full Israelite thing on her, because she don't know about all that, right? She knows a little bit, because I kind of like hint things in here and there, but I kind of had to give it to her a little bit more. And I said, the reason why these so-called white people don't care that the little boy died, because they'll play that, oh, it's not about, he was a black boy or black girl. Well, why do you keep talking about the cop dying and not about the little boy being shot up at 18 years old, running from the cops? See, the semantics that the so-called white people will say is, oh, did you see his criminal background? What does it matter? Isn't it life? Isn't it death?
All lives matter, right?
All lives matter, right? Was this cop justified for unloading an entire clip in a little boy's back? Or was the dad justified, or allegedly a woman justified, for running one of those cops over who killed the little boy, who murdered the little boy, because it was in cold blood? Then the cop, now mind you, we already know how the fraternity works.
Just because you got a badge don't make killing justifiable.
Exactly. Just because you don't have a badge doesn't make the killing justifiable. And also, just because you got white skin doesn't mean that your life is more worth than so-called black skin, right? So I had to calm her down, and I started bringing up some precepts, and it kind of reminded me. It made me think, like, damn, we go to camp. I wanted to bring this up at camp because I need our people to understand something. And I had to kind of let her know. I said, what you're not understanding is this. This has nothing to do with cops and civilians. This has everything to do with Jacob and Esau. And she couldn't understand it at first. I said, well, look, you got to understand where you come from. That little boy that was killed, 18 years old, was the son of Jacob. He was an Israelite. She said, huh? And mind you, she's a Bible driven, so she kind of started picking it up right away. And I said, and that man who gunned him down was Esau. There's a perpetual hatred there. Get it? Yeah, we're going to start bring it out right now. But this is something that we, yeah, I got you. This is something that our people need to understand. See, the problem with our people is they don't understand that they have enemies. Everything around them is telling you you have enemies. Everything around you is telling you you have enemies, but you can't accept it because of what? Stockholm syndrome, cognitive dissonance, right? Seeing it in plain sight, but wanting to be like, no, it can't be really like that. It's delusion. Because everything around you, from the systematic oppression, the systems put in place, from literally it's going back as the slave patrol. Where did the police officers come from? Slave patrol. Runaway slaves. They used to have them with their little badges, and they would go what? And hunt down slaves, right? And then it became a police system because they had to figure out how to control the free slaves. That's how the police, the fraternal order of police, was created, right? I can add on to that to go into more history, but I'm not going to do that. I want to stay on topic, okay? But I need our people to understand that you do have enemies, right? What is the whole purpose of Jesus coming back? To save his people from what? Their enemies. That's insane. I need you to grab it.
All right, say more.
Okay, brother.
This is Luke. It's very important. Yeah, bring this out. Luke 1, starting at 68. It says, "Blessed be the Lord Yahweh of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David."
Now, who is the Be'af Dawadah, the house of David? Who was that horn of salvation? Who was coming to bring salvation unto his people? Who you English call Jesus, or AKA Big Man, our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
"As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us."
From our enemies, all they that hate us.
Yeah.
That is the gospel. You got to understand, this is what it's all about, right? Our people coming back through redemption, repentance and redemption back into the fold, but then being saved from our enemies. Now, mind you, the reason why our camp name is called Behind Enemy Lines is because we're surrounded by our enemies.
Correct, yeah.
We are POWs, prisoners of war. We are descendants of prisoners of war. That's what we are. That's why we are Behind Enemy Lines 144. That's the reason for our camp name. So I'm glad that came full circle so people can understand why we said that. But we Behind Enemy Lines. And we're waiting for our super soldiers, the angels, the Archangel Michael, and the rest of the horde, and our Lord and Savior to come back and save us from our enemies. That is literally what it is. So she couldn't understand the perpetual hatred.
It's in our own land.
Right? Right? Beautiful, beautiful. She couldn't understand the perpetuation. She's like, I don't understand why. She's like, isn't our job to convince them or to get them to understand? I said, they will never understand because they're not in your plight. You cannot ask your oppressor to give you power. You can't ask your oppressor for what? For equality. Why? If I know that I've put my foot on the back of your neck for generations and generations and generations, why would I all of a sudden give up power? Because you know what's going to end up happening? The same thing that Pharaoh felt. The same thing that Pharaoh felt.
Too great.
We become too great, we will rise up against them. Their greatest fear. Why do you think they cross the street when you walking down the street? It's guilt. It's white guilt. It's white hate. They're like, oh shit, if these niggas come together, why do you think segregation was abolished? Because they realized us alone was greater than us being with them. It's easily to control us if they subjugate us. I mean, not subjugate us, if they integrate us. But when we were subjugated, we started to stand 10 toes on our feet. We started to, oh, look at these mighty men. Now, if you look at the story about Pharaoh, what happened? We had the most fertile land in Goshen, in Egypt, right? And mind you, and what did the new Pharaoh say? He looked up one day and noticed that the men of Israel was like, oh, shit. Yo, you see them? Yo, they like a damn standing army. If they were mind you, we were naturally stronger, naturally more intuitive, naturally more mentally, physically, emotionally sound. We literally create everything. Mind you, who built up Egypt? The Israelites. So people don't even have this understanding. So when the Pharaoh looked and saw, look at these mighty men looking over here. Yo, if they go and join one of our enemies, they will overthrow us. What's the first thing he thought? We need to kill the firstborn and oppress these people. What do they do now? They created systematic oppression and different rules. Mind you, laws are created for the poor. The rich are above the law. So they say, okay, we need to control these people. We're going to say it's constitutional law, but everything about the law was to hold the so-called Black, Latino, and Native American man down. We're going to redline them. We're going to disenfranchise them. We're going to take their names away. We're going to do all of this. We're going to make sure that they're the first fired, last hired. We're going to put them in doubt for their lives. We're going to send police and over-police them and over-oppress them so they can stay in this perpetual cycle. Then we're going to pin them against each other so they won't look at us even though we're the true enemy. So then she goes, oh, well, damn, I didn't think of it like that. I said, well, this is the truth. This is the truth. The truth is, they will never understand your plight because they can't understand it because they're the ones on top. One thing I learned about the so-called white man, the Edomite Esau, it says he was a bloody man, right? It says he who killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. The only thing the so-called white man understands is violence. Why do you think there's so many wars on the planet? Why do you think that every time they want something, they go in with force? Look at the what's the African leader over in the young African leader.
Like that.
Yeah. Cherhale, I don't know how to say his name, Salakia. But that's young African leader kicked out the French, told all the other African nations, yo, let's come together, we're gonna have our own shit. We don't need them. And what has America been saying? They on national TV saying he's a threat to national security. Why? Because he's trying to control and take care of his own.
Separate himself.
And separate himself from the norm. When the norm is white supremacy. The norm is American supremacy, imperialism, right? I'm giving perspective here. You gotta understand that this is all spiritual warfare, right?
So lock it, brother. Is he the same brother that was invited to the White House and he said, no, I'm too busy building my country?
Possible. I'm not sure if he said that.
That was
but they want to kill him. They said it was over 20 to 30 assassination attempts on him now. He's the youngest African leader in probably history.
That's
the moment they can't control you, they dispose you.
The moment they can't control you, they dispose you.
They'll try to sway the American population so that y'all can feel like they're justified in their actions. They did the same thing with they do the same thing with every war they go to.
They do this. I actually just got them watching a video of statistics. Remember, everything's about statistics and numbers, right? Who are the number one sex offenders? So-called white people. Who's the number one child abusers? So-called white people. Who's the number one in domestic violence? White people. Who the number one in theft? White people. Who's the number one in drugs? White people. But what picture do they paint? When you think of crime, you think of what?
So-called black man.
The oppressed.
Yep, black, Latino. Yep.
Who controls that system? Who controls that narrative? He who wins the wars writes the history books and sets the laws. So now you got white people literally, instead of looking at the life of this young 18-year-old little boy, right? They're looking at it from a perspective of, well, look at his past. Look, why was he in a stolen car? Don't young kids do dumb shit?
Don't matter. A stolen car doesn't justify killing them. And shooting them.
Exactly, because if all lives matter, as they say, why is it they only care about the cop being ran over, but they don't care about the little boy that got killed?
Yeah,
just like George Floyd and all these other different instances.
Look at all these white boys that get caught shooting up schools and shit.
Right there.
They get caught shooting up schools and shit. They what? Remember the one?
No! I got you right now. Every time a so-called white boy shoots up a school and kills multiple people, what do they say? He's a good kid. He just having some mental issues. A black boy killed one person. Oh, he's a fucking demon. Put him under the prison. He should never see the light of day. So I had to get her to understand that this is something that's been going on since the inception of time.
That's all.
And like you said, every time a so-called black man is killed by police brutality in plain sight, we protest and whatever. But then what does Esau always do? They always come out with some news. Oh, well, it turns out he had a criminal record when he was 17 years old. He stole a candy bar.
So because he stole a candy bar, his life was supposed to be taken?
You know what I mean? They try to justify their wickedness.
Exactly. They want to justify their wickedness. This is why they say in the scriptures, cut their bands asunder. They want nothing to do with the Most High because they don't want that conscience. One thing about being under the law of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, you're going to have a conscience. Because what is the weight of sin? Death, right? And mind you, and how do we persuade men? With fear. Fear of what? The law and of death. Why? Because if we break the law, this is what happens. How do they control us? With what? Their laws. Hey, next time you in here, I'm going to put you under the prison. The same things that the so-called white man does, we do, they get a lesser time. We get 10 to 15 years, they might get 90 days in probation.
It is their kingdom.
It is their kingdom. So I try to get her to understand that as well. This is their kingdom. I said the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, right? Job 9 and 24. I told her, I said, yo, you need to go read a little bit more because, a lot of people say that they're into the Bible, but they don't actually study what's really going on. Because one thing you need to understand is even in Deuteronomy 28, it talks about that our life shall hang in doubt.
Yeah. No assurance of life.
No assurance of their life. And this is how these lawyers, she's arguing with these lawyers, and she's like, yo, but how can you not see how we could possibly win the case? Because if it was this, oh, they didn't want to hear none of that. Oh, you don't like cops? They strongmanned the conversation. Oh, you don't like cops now? You anti-cop? Whoa, we're talking about two individuals, cause and reaction. Yeah, who that? Who's the Newton's third law. Thank you, sir. Look at you, my man. Newton's third law. There's no cause. There's no energy transfer. There's no energy transfer. It's kinetic energy and potential energy. There is no reaction if there's no action. There's always a reaction to every action. Newton's third law. So, little boy and his friends joyriding like dummies. I've never said that it was a smart thing to do, especially behind enemy lines. You sitting here playing with these white people in their kingdom. What you think they're going to do to you? You breaking their laws, they set up to literally oppress you. What do you think they're going to do to you? That's why every time you see a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native American man getting locked up, I got to look at him like, you a dummy. Because they put it plain upon tables. We don't fucking like you, we hate you, and everything we created is to destroy you. So if you want to sit here and play this game, don't think we ain't going to do it. The Lord says a righteous man foreseeth the evil what? And hide of himself. Right? A lot of our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And this is prevalent.
Yo, and a testimony of that, no long story. At my job, I just saw a brother got in trouble, and then he had opportunity to get out of it. And what he said was, well, when I get out, I'm just gonna run the tab all the way back up. So he got in trouble for the one thing that got him in trouble. He did. He ended up getting off a slap on the wrist and getting away from the trouble, and then turns out he wants to go back to the thing that put him back into it.
My people are sottish children. right? Stupid
in
children.
prison houses.
Snared in prison houses and holes. Why? Because they don't understand who they are.
Yeah, that's real shit.
This little boy and his friends, if they knew that they were Israelites, that they were God's chosen people, this is why we are on a mission to what? Plant seeds, and the Lord willing, the Lord waters them to grow.
Yeah.
This is our entire mission. Our entire mission is to literally, because we can't save you, but we can literally tell you about yourself. Isaiah 58:1, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and spare not. Show my people their transgressions. Basically, let them know what the heck they're doing wrong. Correct them. How do we correct people? With what? The scriptures, with the law, statutes, commandments. Because if you're following these, right, the ways of a man are right to his own self, but the ways are there of his are unto what? Death. But the ways of me, which is the law, statutes, commandments, are unto life. So if our people don't want to be snared in traps and holes and all that, follow the law. If you don't want to be oppressed and destroyed by your enemies, follow the law. This is literally the narrative of the Bible. Right here, go ahead.
Well, I had the Deuteronomy 28. You paraphrase.
Nah, let me bring this Esau shit out.
Go ahead, bring that up.
And
And then we're going to get into you need to understand that these are your enemies.
Right here, it's going to put us full
Go ahead.
circle. Ezekiel 35, I'm going to start at 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. And say unto it, thus saith Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Now, Mount Seir goes into Esau, Edom, right? Because Mount Seir was, I think it was in Petra. Petra, and if you look up Petra, it's literally monuments of basically caves, right? And they got like stones and everything, and they're caves. So-called Caucasian, from the Caucasus Mountains, Petra, they were living in snares and holes and in caves, right? Mount Seir is one of their I think it was like their chief place or something like that, like their capital or something like that. Mount Seir. So the mount meaning mountain or the household, just like we're from what? Well, we're from what? Mount Zion, right? We're from the house of Israel. They're from Mount Seir.
Mount America is now Mount DC. The DC is their now new mountain.
Yep. So you got to understand something. Understanding context, studying a little bit will get you a little farther, man. All right. So go ahead.
Yep, and it says verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Now because,
It's Slacky, bro. My bad.
go ahead.
No, Slacky. So you gotta understand something. Mount Seir is Esau, Edom. Edom is a people before it was a place, just like Israel is a people before it was a place. Esau, Edom is the so-called white man. You can look it up yourself. Don't take my word for it. Just type in who was Esau, Edom, and watch what books and things pop up. Alexander the Great, who was one of the greatest Greeks, if not the greatest Greek to be known, he literally says, I am from the house of Esau, Edom. He says it out of his own mouth. What was it? Wasn't he rolling over the Greek empires before it became the Roman empires? Who was Esau, Edom, Rome? Go read that book. Don't take my word for it. Go look this up. I'm giving you all straight knowledge. Just dumping it right now. All right?
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, huh? All right. But go ahead.
This is Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
So because the so-called white man, right, oppressed and destroyed and killed the sons of Jacob, who is their twin brothers, right? Because you do this, the Lord has because you've had a perpetual hatred towards your brother, I'm going to have a perpetual hatred towards you. This is what the Lord is saying. All right? Because you hate them, I hate you. Because how did I teach the world? We're supposed to what? Love thy neighbor. Right? We're supposed to love thy brothers. And he hated thy brother without a cause. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And he hated thy brother without a cause. What is one of the main things that Jesus, I'm going to say Jesus, so for the YouTube world, his real name is Yahweh Shah. What is one of the main things he talked about? Having what? Brotherly love. Main thing. He said, yo, you got to have brotherly love. Follow the law, statutes, commandments, and have brotherly love. That's literally what he says. What is brotherly love? Come on, what does it sound like? Brotherly love.
Yep.
Compassion, empathy, sympathy, patience, long suffering, all the things that we want him to do for us, he's telling you to do for your own brethren. Esau hated his brother without cause. Esau was the profane person.
He probably hated
Esau's spirit wasn't. We know why but he didn't give a fuck about it.
It's not even just the emotion behind it; it's the actions behind the hate. Because you can hate somebody and
not say that.
And leave them a fucker alone.
I hate that motherfucker.
Hate that motherfucker.
And just leave him alone.
Yo, stay away from me, dog. I'm good. I'm cool. I don't fuck with you. and you go about your way, and then you're justified because like you don't like somebody, you don't like somebody. But it's the actions behind the emotion.
Yep. Cat Williams said it the best in his podcast. He was like, it's a little weird to me, you know his voice. It's a little weird to me. If you hate something, why you pay so much attention to it? They hate us, but they always worried about what we do. Why?
Real shit.
Because they know who we are.
Yeah,
And Cat Williams was trying to say that without saying that. He said, look, he says the person who's telling a lie know he's lied. So he got to keep holding on to his lie. He said that too. What is he talking about? What's that great lie? Who we are as a people. So these little young boys out here getting killed and shot down in the streets, you know, bodies laying on the ground like dung. Yes, it's a tragedy because it's our people. And I know it gets us angry. We look at it on TV like, man, you mother, dog, can't stand these mother, But at the same time, are we using wisdom? Are we using Sophia? Are we married unto the Lord right now? Are we doing what we're supposed to do to avoid these calamities? And the answer is no. So you're going to also see an uptick in the death of our people, especially in the times coming. Who do you think they're going to target when all hell breaks loose? Huh? I don't even got to answer that. If you watch the movie The First Purge, and I don't want to seem to bring this up to talk about the Purge and all that, but if you look at The First Purge, why was it called The First Purge? Why were the people they started with on the Purge with this whole national thing was going after who and why?
And the projects and the high rise.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Ezekiel, and continue on in verse 5. It says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Who's the bloody man on the planet? Who starts all the wars? Who polluts the earth? The air, the water, the food. Literally everything that the so-called white man touches dies. They mask the death and calamity that they put on the earth with what? Inventions. Miracles on the left-hand side. Look at the cities in democracy. They lie to you. They lie and lie and lie. They're going to lie about this little boy, say he had a gun. They're going to lie about the dad and say he was the one driving. When people are saying that it was a girl actually driving, but guess what? He's standing on business like, fuck it, fuck y'all. Y'all killed my son. And if for anybody to sit here and says, why did he retaliate? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's stupid as shit.
What are you talking about? I don't care who you are. If you have a child, if you have a brother,
you know the argument.
If you have a sister,
you have to take you can't take justice into your own hands.
It is bro.
Let them lose their young.
No, mind you, that's true.
They say that I would,
but no,
until you experience it.
No. What I'm saying, but I'm saying this to our people because one thing I did tell her, I said Yahweh Shah said vengeance is mine. So yeah. I'm gonna get to that point in a second. But let's be realistic. If anybody touched any of these brothers, I'm crashing out. I know I'm going to crash out. It's not even a hesitation of crashing out. Like, what happened to Corey? Bro, he just shot up the whole... What? What happened? Somebody got Kamal. Somebody got, Samak. I'm going to crash out. These are my actual blood brothers.
The beautiful thing is the Most High knows your spirit.
And he knows I'm going to crash out.
He knows it. So he's like, you know what? Because he's mine, for that sake, there's certain things I can't do because I know the repercussions. Because it's like, let's be honest.
I know the spirit of it.
I just know the spirit of that brother. Like, no matter how much he in the truth, if this were to happen, this brother's gonna crash out because that's his spirit. Just like Peter cut the bull ear off. It's
he
like
he knew he was gonna do it.
It's just like
great example.
It's just like
crash out.
bro. Like you're not about to
crashing out.
You're not about to touch my. You're not about to touch.
Lord.
Exactly. I'm gonna crash. And the thing is, I know I would crash out. I'm trying to tell you. And when I seen the brother walking, they had him on, and all the cops tried to intimidate him. He walked that joint like, yeah, all right, motherfuckers, yeah. Nah, I'm gonna be honest. They're gonna lock him up. They're gonna whoop his ass. Mm-hmm. They might end up killing him. You might hear his story come up. He was dead. They found his body in one of the cells. I'm not gonna lie to you. And honestly, that was just turned into another can of worms. Mm-hmm. Right? You gotta understand something.
He fighting back.
Newton's third. Yeah, he gonna fight back. But guess what? They might put him in a cell and they got batons. But look, we ain't gonna get into that right now. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? No, Mantra, I don't condone, and I'll make this very known. We are wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So I'm gonna make it very clear right here. We are non-violent out here until our Lord and Savior raises us up and turns us into new threshing instruments having teeth.
Until the Most High gives us the order.
Until He gives the order. But until then, brothers and sisters, I implore you right now, chill out. Chill out. Y'all not gonna do nothing anyway, because I've seen how y'all get down. Y'all ready to retaliate on your own, but when one of ours go down by one of them, y'all just march.
Yeah, it ain't no.
Y'all ain't really about nothing.
storming.
It ain't really about nothing. Y'all ain't really about nothing. Because if y'all was really about something, shit would have been changed in America. Because one thing that the so-called white man understands, and that's violence. He understands nothing else but violence and power. If you have no power, no money, because money is power. So if you have no power and you have no violence, he won't understand you. He doesn't communicate in the language of peace. He doesn't communicate in the language of benevolence. He doesn't communicate in the energy of spirit. He doesn't. Everything about him is intangible. If I can see it, then it's mine. If I can see it, then I'll believe it. If it ain't about the dollar, then I don't care about it. That's who he serves. His master, his God is Mammon. We serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We are two different manners of people, two different nations. Whether we were twins or not, we are nowhere near the same. There's light and dark, up and down, left and right. That's literally the so-called white man and the so-called black man. And until you people, us, talking about you so-called tribes, I mean, you are the tribes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Americans, until you understand that these are your enemies. Since the original incarnation what? Cain and Abel. It's the same story over and over. It's the same spirits over and over. You know?
That's what I'm saying, bro.
What?
I don't think that. I think the spirit got it on Jake for all these years not to do what we should do, because it's a time frame for us to be roused up.
That's obvious.
That's
but
obvious.
At the same time, you also have to look at the systematics behind why Jake don't rouse up.
Yeah, because
it's the oppression.
The depression.
It's the oppression.
They're scared.
Stockholm syndrome.
Think about it this.
They're not. Jake
No.
not really gangsters. For us.
Really not. Because think about it. It'd be a bunch of niggas on the corner with their guns out. Yeah. One cop
Black
car.
Panthers was real gangsters.
One cop car come down the street. They all scatter like roaches. It's one of y'all, one of them, or maybe two in the car. It's 30 y'all on the corner with choppers and all that. Why are you scared?
But when it come to Jake and shit,
You ready to run down.
you ready to run these
You're not
down.
about that.
Just for looking
You're
at
not
it
about
the wrong
that.
way.
And you cowards. You rather kill your own and actually kill your enemy. You're a coward.
That's just full curses right there.
It is curses, but it's still cowardly.
I mean,
It's still cowardly. However you want
They
to look at it.
believe that they're inferior.
They believe they're inferior when they're
No
not.
matter how much shit they talk, they believe they're inferior. That's why they don't do anything. The action shows.
The motherfuckers be like, yo, I'm a king. Walk around 100 white men and be there in their joint like this.
I don't do that shit.
I know you don't, brother.
No,
but
I know shit. I'm just
we
saying.
just talking. We talking about our nation. Our nation is destroyed. Our nation is destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Our people need to understand that you do have enemies, man. Right? Deuteronomy 28:16 says we were sold unto our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, or slave men and slave women. Why did he say enemies? He didn't tell us we're going to be sold into these people from a far land. He said, no, we're going to be sold into our enemies. Psalms 83 tells us exactly who our enemies are. You read the book of Obadiah, literally it's the Lord talking about how he's going to destroy our chief enemy and wipe his bloodline because of what he's done to us. And who is that? Esau, Edom. But no, y'all don't read that. So now, this man, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I would have loved it if the guy who actually pulled the trigger was the one who, you know what I mean? Now, mind you, I don't want to say love that. Let me say it for the YouTube world. What I'm saying is, retribution should have been done exact, not just any random. That's one thing I didn't agree with. Like, all right, bro.
Just a random act of violence. Just
Like the one story about the and if y'all know about this, like the one story, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. A sheriff or some racist white guy killed Bull's son. He waited until the cop's daughter was going to prom and shot her up and killed her, and then stood there and sat on the ground and waited for the cops to come and said,
retaliation.
and then he literally said, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Now that was gangster. He stood there like, oh, it was me.
Yeah, 'cause
You killed my kid, I killed your kid. That right there was like,
remember
okay.
That didn't go that viral on purpose.
The reason why I didn't go that viral is because they're going to try to sweep something like that, because it showed the strength of a so-called black man. He was strong about that. He's like, you killed my child. This man waited months. Systematically, he knew where you lived. He knew where he lived. He knew his daughter. He went on Facebook, Instagram. He was stalking this little girl. He knew what car she got in, and he waited for her to come out that month and then lit her up.
He waited till she was in that dress.
In that dress, all pretty on her prom night. You killed my son before he can make it to prom. I'm taking yours before she even walks into prom. Simple. That right there was a little bit more like, okay, well, that was shit. All right, well. And then what crazy is, then he dropped the gun, put it down, and he sat there and waited for the cops to get there. It's not like he fled the scene. He sat there. So this little girl is bleeding out. He just like this, stern face, eye for an eye, 2 for a 2, eye for an eye, 2 for a 2.
Pop must have not been there at the time. No, he wasn't. Yeah, no, the Pop must have not been there at the time.
Well, he heard once he pulled up to the scene. Guess what? The same way how this man, he felt like he was getting his retribution, whether it was right or wrong. I understand the mindset of it. I'm not telling you that any life, unless the Lord takes the spirit up off you, I'm not saying that any life is meant to be taken. Any life. We are not the ones who govern that.
Right.
That is of the Lord. I'm not going to tell you that all these people should die and all that. No, whoa. Back it up.
Vengeance is his. And
Vengeance
he
is-
has mercy on who he has mercy.
Exactly. Now we're going to get
We
that
may
shit.
see a brother do some. We may see a man do some foul
Get that
shit,
weight upon
but
him.
the Most High may justify him and have mercy on him.
Exactly. So I'm
There's
not out
many
here.
stories in the scriptures that go. David's one of the best examples.
Yep. Because David should have been what?
David should have been cooked, bro.
Should have been cooked.
If you really want to think about it, David was a regular man, or they would have
They would
hung
cook
his
him.
ass.
They would have
Stoned his
stoned him, stripped him. They would have probably skinned him. They
Yep.
did something to him. Because he got a man killed and he committed adultery. It was, and then
Bro, he coveted.
And he coveted. Yeah, he was
committed. First, it was
did
coveted.
He did one of the worst.
Then
of the worst.
committed adultery.
Yeah.
Got her pregnant. Tried to cover it up. Tried to cover it up. Then when the cover up wouldn't work, oh, you just kill him. Just put him to death.
put him to death. Send him to the front lines to die. You know what I'm saying? So that's just giving perspective. But go ahead.
Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, to the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, our enemies, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
Whoa. So why is Lord and Savior Jesus Christ saying he's going to gather all nations to destroy? I thought he was coming back to just save everybody. Who needs to be saved? There are those who need to be saved and there are those who don't need no saving. This is what people don't understand, and this is the concept of the Bible. This is the truth of the Bible. You can sit here and tell me, if I believe in the blood of Jesus, I'm saved. Excuse me, are you part of the tribes? No, I'm a spiritual Israelite. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. The Lord said He ain't coming for you, and your people had their hands in the cookie jar, and because you had your hands in the cookie jar, you got to be punished for being caught with your hands in the cookie jar. Read Psalms 83. It tells you all the nations had a hand in destroying the nation of Israel. They came together in one consult, like, how we gonna get rid of these niggas? We got to figure out how to destroy them, how to wipe them from the map. The Lord ain't allow them to wipe us from the map. They tried, but He wouldn't allow them. He said, no, you can destroy them, you can get rid of their names, you can do all these things, because the Lord used those enemies to punish us. But then He said, there I set thy bounds, meaning you cannot pass this certain bound. That certain bound was eradication. It was just chastisement. But because Esau, the so-called white man, right, took it a little too far, the Lord said, okay, because you took it too far, I'm gonna fuck everybody up. Because you took it too far, I'm gonna wipe your bloodline. And that's what it really says. That's what it really says. Don't hate me for saying, don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. Am I your
They
enemy?
gonna kill the messenger.
It's
It's fucked up, but they be killing the messenger.
Yeah, you gonna kill. Yeah, I know they're gonna kill the messenger. Yeah, and some of us won't have to be martyrs and stuff. But I need our people to understand that vengeance is of Yahweh Shemel Shah. That is His glory. His glory is to come back and subdue the earth, to usher in His new world order, which is what? The kingdom of heaven. How do you do that with a people who only know violence? You must bring what? Violence. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 42, and I'm going to start at 12. Let them give glory unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and declare His praise in the islands. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies.
Why does it say the Lord has enemies if the Lord doesn't have enemies? Y'all Christians are like, the Lord don't got no enemies. He loves everybody. He loves the whole world. Why does He say?
Where the enemies are sinners, which is fucking wrong.
What still?
Well, no, they are.
No, but like in the sense of the, like
No.
people who sin in general.
That is for verbatim correct.
Still correct.
If you are a sinner, you are an enemy to the Most High.
Anybody who states that are sinners, because
Bro.
you ask them what's the law, they don't know the law,
True.
so they're sinners by default.
by default. And the Lord is coming to wage
They don't
war.
know, they don't even know the law.
Yeah, they don't, bro. And they all, or they profess to know the law and don't know nothing about the law, bro.
Right. I get that.
Go ahead.
14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and drop all their herbs.
He says, I will make waste mountains and hills. That's going into governments. That's going into governments and people. All right? Mountains going into governments or civilizations, and hills going to governments and people. So the Lord says, I'm going to make waste these people. He says, I'm going to gather the world together, and I'm going to utterly waste them. What is it? What is it to waste something? Oh man, it was killed. It was such a waste of life. Exactly. He's going to waste them. He has no reason for them. He doesn't want them. And all those who don't get killed are going to be the first fruits in the kingdom of heaven of slavery. That's literally what it says. Don't kill. I'm going to say don't kill the messenger, but they're going to do it anyway. Go ahead.
Just to finish this, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools.
Yep.
And then the rest is going into the upbringing of the elect.
Yep. You know, so this is what we don't understand, man. Vengeance is of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Right? His glory. Yahushua is coming back for his glory. What is glory to a man? Glory to a man in the Bible was war. How many heads? How many people did you kill? Literally, if you read the scriptures, how did a man get glory? He got his glory from war and battle. And they remember, they used to tell stories. King David killed tens of thousands. King Solomon killed hundreds. But I heard King David killed tens of thousands. That was his glory.
King Saul.
And King Saul killed thousands.
And tens of thousands.
And David tens of thousands. Why would they say that? Because that was the glory. Saul was jealous of David because the women were fawning over David for killing what? More men. So guess what? Who is going to get the ultimate glory? Yahushua, when it comes to wage war. That's why he says, I shall not meet thee as a man, and by me alone, by myself, he's going to destroy World War III. While we all doing side missions, he's going to send the angels to do side missions. Those are going to be caught up in the sky or in the chambers, the elect, the first fruits, right? They're going to be waiting with their new spiritual bodies, waiting for the order to go do what? Get their glory. And their glory comes from hunting them from the clefts of the rocks and then inside the bunkers. Read it yourself. I'm not making this up. But the glory of Yahushua, who you English call Jesus, is to what? Wage war with the earth and to subdue the whole earth. Because how can he become the king of the earth or the kingdom of heaven be ushered in if you don't first destroy all the other kingdoms and make them what? Subservient under you. That's why Jesus himself, Yahushua, said, all those that don't want me to rule over them, bring them before me and slay them in front of my feet. Why would he say that? That was a king statement. Yo, I'm ruling now. Yo, these people over here don't want you to rule. They don't want me. Bring them over here. I want you to slay them right in front of me. Yup, get rid of them. That is a king. That is a ruler. That is omnipotence. That is power. And one thing about the so-called white man, he only understands power and violence. So guess what? The Lord says, I shall not meet thee as a man. You want to see power? I'm going to show you real power. You want to see glory? I'm going to show you things you've never even could fucking fathom. All the technology you've been fucking creating, getting ready to war with me, I told my angels to give you that so you can have some kind of courage to do what you're supposed to do. But guess what? I'm going to harden your heart like Pharaoh, and you still going to be destroyed. And the rest of you who don't want to just bow down and prostrate, kill them in front of me. And then the remnant after that, put shackles of iron, fetters of iron and shackles on them, on their nobles and kings. This is biblical. Get that. They shall put feathers of iron and shackles on their nobles and kings. And I'm going to show you, this is biblical. This is how the kingdom of heaven is being established. People think the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. It's going to be, oh, rainbows and lollipop. No, it's going to be great war, destruction, and death before the kingdom of heaven is established. The earth was given in the hands of the wicked.
Psalms 149, starting at 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor and all his saints praise ye Yahweh.
Praise ye Yahweh. So this is the judgment that was written. I'm giving you what the judgment is coming. I'm telling you, it's already been written that this is the judgment. I'm telling you what the judgment is. And this was the future prophecy of the saints. The saints are the 144,000 elected men that will rule as the royal priesthood and future kings over the earth and existence, right? They have a two-edged sword. Now, a two-edged sword is meant for what? healing. That means it can cut on each side. If you know anything about samurai swords, most samurai swords only have a blade on one end because there's a way of mercy where I can hit you with the blunt end and just knock you out. Or if I really want to kill you, I can flip the sword and kill you with a straight slice. But the Lord said, I'm going to give you a two-edged sword in your hands. While we're going to be praising the name of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, as we do what? Execute vengeance. Vengeance that was written beforehand. The prophecy of what? Obadiah. The prophecy of what? Revelations 18. The prophecy of what? The Valley of Jehoshaphat. These prophecies is what we're going to be enacting on the earth. This is the truth of it. All right? So, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Double honor to the elders and apostles, and shalom to the elect.